Hey everyone, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So today is going to be another celebrity edition of Cody Tarot because I recently discovered that I like doing these readings. I don't know if I'll get tired of them eventually, but right now they're like really fun. I don't know why I'm enjoying them so much. They're just so much fun. And the reading time is like pretty short too. The reading's like 20 minutes long, and so I can like get in and get out basically. But let's get into this one. Just so you know, these readings are speculative, and only time will tell what happens with these couples and their relationships. So this is just kind of like gonna give us some good information. Remember, tarot is for entertainment purposes only. You guys know the drill. Let's just get into it. Let's get into today's celebrity readings, and we have today Tom Holland and Zendaya. So I'm really excited to read for them. So let's get a animal oracle card for Tom Holland. Okay, we have to draw for Tom Holland. So Tom Holland is represented by the lizard. And Zendaya, let's get a card for Zendaya. Oh, we have Zendaya as the peacock. Wow. I'm going to get a wisdom of the oracle card for both of them. What is a card that represents their relationship? Tom Holland's and Zendaya's relationship. Sorry if you can hear my air conditioning. I'll turn it off when the, we got two cards. Wow, we have two cards. Interesting. For them. I'm going to turn my air conditioning off right now just because it's already pretty cold. Okay, let's get the tarot cards for them. What are some tarot cards for Tom Holland and Zendaya for their connection? How is their relationship going to play out? I think I'm gonna do a classic shuffle. Okay. Cards for Tom. And 3 cards for Zendaya. Okay, let's flip over all the cards. Tarot cards we have. We have 4 of Pentacles reversed, 9 of Cups upright, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Strength card upright, the Star card in reverse, and the 10 of Swords in reverse. Okay, let's get into this reading. So first, let's start with Tom and Zendaya's animal oracle card. So we have Tom here as the lizard and Zendaya as the peacock. One of the cool things about this is looking at the symbols right up here, we have a fire symbol and an air symbol showing that these two really get along with each other. Or there's just some kind of compatibility as far as like opposites attract, taking care of the other one's needs in a way that's complementary but different than the other one can do for themselves. Something here with the lizard card, similar to my reading with Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian, there's something about the lizard kind of lying in wait or kind of reserving his energy in order to kind of make his move. But instead of instead of the crocodile, like in the Pete Davidson reading, we have a lizard here, which is representing more of a fiery, impulsive nature. So this is going to feel more like keeping that sense of readiness in check, like kind of like constantly wanting to do or expand or progress, and then kind of constantly keeping that readiness in check. That can also be representative of how their relationship is, in the fact that there might be wanting to make advances or wanting to make moves on Zendaya all the time, but for some reason there's like a barrier there, or there's some kind of thing that kind of keeps Tom Holland in check, kind of like he doesn't want to. And it's not like a cautious thing. It's not like he wants to get too close. It's like, this is going to sound interesting. It's almost like he doesn't want to hurt her or offend her or make her upset in any way. So I definitely see there's like a sense of wanting to hold back parts of his personality from like affecting her, basically. With her, with Peacock, we definitely see over here that peacocks are very, very beautiful. And with her, she has like all these eyes, which reminds me of the third eye. I definitely see Zendaya as very like psychic and intuitive. Also with the freedom card, with the air symbol, she definitely likes her freedom. She definitely wants to have some freedom away from, in the relationship. She wants to be able to kind of do what she needs to do when she needs to do it. I definitely see with their compatibility, with him being more of a fire element, that he kind of lets her have that freedom. I'm definitely also seeing that there is kind of an element of predator-prey here, where I can see the peacock kind of being more of a prey animal to the lizard. So I definitely see Zendaya as playing more of a dominant role in the relationship, kind of controlling how things go or what direction things flow in. And that makes sense with Tom being with the lizard spirit, kind of having to hold back his kind of impulsive nature, you know? It's interesting, lizards also, if they stand still for too long or they get in an environment that's too cold, they're almost like freeze up. So I definitely see Tom as one of these people who needs an enthusiastic and warm and kind of fun and engaging environment in order to not freeze up and kind of get really still and kind of, it's almost like lizards kind of like, they're cold-blooded, so they need kind of the warmth of activity around them. Which is interesting, because when I pay attention to Tom in like interviews and stuff, it seems like he's the epicenter of the warmth. But from what I'm seeing here, it's almost like he needs that kind of like support from others around him. The general vibe of both of them with building blocks in between worlds, it's interesting we got two separate cards representing that their relationship is almost like, in a way, they're not sharing the main component of their relationship. So there's kind of like a separateness to both of them in this kind of connection. Tom, on one hand, have building blocks, which is all about like learning and kind of educating yourself and gaining a bigger understanding about what's going on. So I definitely see him kind of like taking things step by step and kind of learning as he goes with Zendaya. And Zendaya, I'm seeing her as kind of more focused on, like with Between Worlds, she's kind of has this battle between her inner world, kind of like the inner world of her mind and what she enjoys on her internal vibe, versus the outer world, which is this kind of gray, drab, and kind of dull thing. So I'm definitely seeing she kind of prefers more of her own space, more of her own energy. But at the same time, it's not so much that, it's that there's a battle between both. It's like there's a battle between engaging with the external world and then bringing it in consolation with her inner world. There's that inner-outer world battle. And Tom, I see over here, is just kind of like trying to learn how to kind of best approach her. And he's kind of taking on this relationship as more of like an educational experience. I think they do very much care about each other, especially because their elements are very compatible. But this almost seems like new information for Tom. Like he has never been in a relationship quite like this before. Like this is kind of something different, and he has to kind of learn along the way. So he's kind of taking it one step at a time, basically. Now let's get into the tarot cards. When they met, this is kind of the recent past. These two cards are kind of like the near future, and then these two cards are the far future. This is kind of like when their relationship comes to a conclusion. So they're going to go on their journey, and then as they settle into each other and get to know each other more and more and more, if the relationship comes to a conclusion, we have this kind of conclusion here. Sometimes the conclusion ends in marriage, sometimes the couple splits, so we'll get to that in a second. With Tom over here with the recent past, there's something with the Four of Pentacles where he was just spending money. Like he was not saving, he was not kind of, he's kind of spending his energy as well. This Four of Pentacles can be about spending money and energy. And so there's almost like this aspect to him where he's not focused so much on like the practical components of life and like kind of keeping money for himself and kind of building for the future. There's definitely a strong sense of like overspending, like right when he met Zendaya, something about when they first met, and this is kind of in the past a little bit, that he was kind of had this kind of like, I guess, spending habits where he's like overspending basically. With Zendaya with the 10 of Swords here, it's interesting. This is more of an abstract kind of card. It's about having open and infinite possibilities in the world around you, but in the way, it's almost like she wants to limit herself to a certain few possibilities. 10 of Swords also represents, with these crows representing your thought patterns, right? There's something about paying attention to your thoughts and the way your thoughts progress through your mind. So there's definitely something of an internal component here. We're seeing that again with the Star card a little bit, but with the 10 of Swords, this also can indicate, on one of the more classical terms of the 10 of Swords, this can indicate like escaping kind of like a betrayal or someone backstabbing you and kind of barely escaping by without it actually happening. Like kind of like dodging the bullet before the bullet hits. If, pulling a Matrix move on, the whatever's coming towards you. But mainly what I'm seeing is that she's maybe more focused on limiting possibilities, or limited, like if there's kind of like an open-endedness to her life, she's focused on putting restraints on that open-endedness, basically. And that's kind of where she was getting at when she met Tom, when she was kind of coming into contact with Tom. Both of these cards are reversed, indicating that both of them were kind of focused on themselves more than each other when they first interacted. And I definitely seeing that. It's interesting. They're kind of like building, or kind of like got together based on the fact that they're both kind of in their internal worlds, like before they like got together, basically. In the near future for both of them, Tom actually comes upon a lot of like wealth and wishes fulfilled. In the near future, Tom Holland is getting like a lot of, I don't know if it's recognition, it's just like a lot of his dreams and wishes are coming true. So whatever he's been dreaming of, and this is kind of one of those, the Nine of Cups is typically a wish fulfilled card, and because of this treasure chest here, I'm definitely seeing him coming into a lot of money, a lot of wealth, and at the same time, a lot of emotional fulfillment. I definitely see him wanting to create and experience lots of different experiences in his environment that are going to bring him emotional wholeness, something about being emotionally filled up, emotionally full. I definitely see a very beneficial period coming in his relationship with Zendaya, like in the near future. He's gonna feel very like confident, content. Sometimes the Nine of Cups can indicate wanting an experience after another, because in the original Nine of Cups, the bench that they're sitting on is known to not be that comfortable. So it's like you get one experience and you want the next wish fulfilled, and the next wish fulfilled, and the next wish fulfilled. So that's why the guy has so many cups in the background. So this is kind of like an experience card. Like Tom's trying to get all these different experiences and collect them. And so he's kind of going through this like period of his life where he's trying to experiment more and kind of, maybe he might be more adventurous or something like that. Zendaya, on the other hand, is kind of dealing with a little bit of hopelessness when Tom is in this state of mind. It's kind of interesting because I don't want to say there's like an actual like neglect here, because I'm not really seeing like a neglect so much, is that Tom's just kind of busy doing his thing and Zendaya's kind of busy doing her thing. Like she's focused on kind of her internal world and the hope in it or lack thereof. There's something about not having hope for others in her situation and her direction in life, but having hope more for like her plans or the direction she wants to go in. There's something about like ruminating on hope and kind of the concept of hope. Very interesting. Zendaya seems like a very deep person based on this. Yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune here and the Strength card, we see that there's kind of like a difference in pacing. That's what I'm noticing between both of them. Whereas Zendaya kind of takes things slow and steady and kind of surely. And she definitely has an eye for like the future and kind of like how things actually operate. Like she has a really strong third eye chakra. Tom Holland, on the other hand, kind of moves very quickly. I definitely see that he kind of doesn't like to stay put for too long, because if he did, the lizard would freeze, right? So he kind of, when he gets his money, he spends it kind of quickly, or he expends his energy really quick. If it's not money, it's his energy really quickly. And then with the Nine of Cups, he's getting all these different emotional experiences. But I'm seeing that eventually, when they're further down the road, Tom Holland has like a negative turn of his luck. There's something that happens to him where he kind of has to deal with some kind of aspect of fate. And it's at this point where Zendaya provides the strength for him, because we see her as kind of like the pillar of strength and the reliability. And this is when he really realizes that he kind of like needs her stability, needs her strength. Excuse me. Basically, with this negative turn of luck, he's down on his luck, he's down on his fortune. It's kind of like the wheels spun out, right? And there's kind of like this emptiness, right? Zendaya actually provides this strength for him. And this is kind of in the far future, that she provides this kind of like power and structure for him. Now, this could indicate a breakup, just because I can see more of like a reconciliatory period where, you know, Tom like falls down on his luck and has to reevaluate things, and Zendaya, who has like already had this wisdom, who's already evaluated things for the most part in her mind, has this pillar of strength she can rely on, that is like, she's basically just such a strong force of security for those in her kind of relationships. And I definitely see that Tom in this period, this could either make them or break them. I'm definitely noticing that Tom might leave out of the fact of feeling kind of like, I don't want to be too like mean or anything. I love Tom Holland, to be honest, but he might feel like he's not himself or something like that. Like he's not truly himself, or there's something going on where he doesn't feel actually like him, or something is about like, it's almost like a midlife crisis, or kind of like a quarter life crisis or something like that. And Zendaya is like there for them, but they kind of realize that they might have to split, you know, they might have to like part ways. So it's not really like hard feelings, I don't see. There's just definitely some kind of negative turn of events that kind of gets them to like reevaluate their relationship. To be honest, I'm seeing them splitting up in the long run, but I'm definitely seeing Tom in the very final stages, like learning what about her he truly loves. You know, it's almost like in these stages and stuff, he's focused on his own stuff and his own life. And even though they're together, they're with these two cards right here, not coming out as one card, but two cards, they're in kind of separate worlds for their relationship. They're not really like fully connecting, I guess you could say. And then they kind of do fully connect down here. It's just interesting. It's almost like too late or something. And with Tom learning, like he is still learning from Zendaya about how to be in a relationship, or about aspects about the relationship and how to be with someone like Zendaya. So I definitely see there's like still a learning process here. He's still like curious, basically. There's such a sort of like a curiosity that I'm seeing, you know, with like all three of these cards right here. Let's pull some cards for how they express love to each other. I think that'll help clarify some things. So I got these Whispers of Love cards. And we got one for Tom. We have patience, love is patient and kind always. That makes sense, because earlier I was noticing the lizard, that he kind of has to hold back his impulses around Zendaya. Like he can't fully be like impulsively himself. You know, he has to kind of like hold back a little bit of his impulsiveness in order, like maybe if there's like times where he wants to make a move on her, maybe she's not ready or she's putting up a barrier or something, and so he has to kind of pull back. So he's learning to have patience, and that's kind of how he shows her love, and how he learns with building blocks how to show her love is to have patience for her. So even though he might be impulsive in a lot of other areas of his life, it's like specifically with her, he is learning how to be patient, and he is learning how to use patience as a form of love to show her affection. And then Zendaya, we have act as if your partner is here. Oh my gosh. This is interesting, because this could be like a point of contention between them. But like I said, for the most part with these elemental signs, they really get along quite great. But this is just something that's, you know, might wear on them over time. But Zendaya says, act as if your partner is here. It says, whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. I'm seeing that because she's so internal, right? There's so much stuff going on in the inner world. Zendaya's not focused on kind of like the connection. It's like with this kind of separateness that they have in their relationship, like they're together, but they're not like, how do I put this? They're not like emotionally totally engaged with each other. And so act as if your partner is here is just basically saying that like Zendaya is learning like to how to take him into consideration, how to take his needs into consideration. And it's very much with building blocks. It's kind of like an educational thing going all around with both of them. But act as if your partner is here is just saying that like Zendaya, kind of how she shows love, it's kind of one of those things that it's like a lesson she's learning. And I don't know if she'll fully learn the lesson. That's like beyond this reading, but I'm definitely seeing that with her, it's like that the lesson is like she has to act like she has a partner versus not having a partner. So that's something that's coming through right here. And if she does that, it'll solidify their relationship. It'll make them stronger as a couple. But I'm seeing right now with these two these two reverse cards representing introversion as between worlds, showing that there's this conflict between her inner and outer worlds. I'm definitely seeing that she's lacking that kind of ability to kind of like almost like engage with her partner as if they're right there in front of her. Very cool. Let me see if I see anything else. Yeah, it's interesting that the love cards came out as lessons. It's like they're both learning how to love each other, because I think they definitely want to. I think they're definitely committed to each other, but there's just some kind of incompatibility as far as like really just bridging the distance and getting to know each other. Yeah, act as if your partner is here is just indicating that Zendaya needs to kind of like consider her partner more, and Tom Holland is learning to have more patience with her and waiting till she kind of is ready for that kind of love or that exchange or that interaction. Overall, a very good relationship. I'm definitely seeing somewhat of like oscillations in the connection. So there might be moments where Tom Holland and Zendaya like oscillate in their relationship with each other. I definitely see there's like different worlds. Like they're both in kind of different worlds. Tom Holland's kind of in this extroverted world that Zendaya is trying to cope with. And at the same time, like Tom's like so active in it, that it's there's kind of like a extrovert versus introvert thing here that could be kind of challenging. Usually extrovert introvert ways are like not that challenging, but in this particular case it could be a little challenging for them. But overall I see a really good relationship, and I definitely think that they are going to end their relationship on a positive note. Or there's something about, even though Tom has this kind of fall from grace right here, there's something in the far future where he kind of like, there's like a slip up or something. Zendaya provides a lot of strength for him at that time, but they still might need to go their separate ways. Yeah, we'll have to revisit these two again in the future. Once a lot of this reading has already passed. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. I know you guys will be checking it out. So with that said, this is the end of the reading. If you like this reading, you can like or comment below. And if you really like this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I normally don't do celebrity tarot readings. I normally do pick-a-cards and stuff. So we'll see if this becomes a regular thing or not. I still plan on doing the other as well. It's just like right now I have like all this energy to film these types of readings for some reason. My body is just telling me like film them, so I'm doing that right now. Anyway, I like reading for you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.